at it. Still pumping water. It is about 3:30 in the morning here. Time for an irrigation lane change. The gun is right there. We're just finishing up this one. Where we're at in the field, I didn't have a spot to make a full pull here, kind of in front of that wood, so it was a short, only a 6-hour one. One going the other way is going to be shorter than that. So I couldn't avoid the overnight lane change here. So in a minute, the pump will shut it down, or the timer will shut the pump down. We'll spin this around, pull it out, get it running again. Going home, going back to bed. Okay, Traveler is back up and running. This one is another short run. It's only a 3.5 hours, so 7:30 in the morning we'll be back here. The dew is quite heavy tonight. I don't know if it's from the humidity that we had yesterday, a little bit of rain or what, but it's going to delay wheat harvest till probably afternoon today. But anyway, I'll see you guys in a few hours. Okay, well, good morning again. Actual morning now. This run that we started at 3, 4 o'clock, whatever it was. I don't know. It was dark. It's almost done. So we're getting ready to move. Okay, I've got this ready to start up. Just before I head to the pump, I wanted to show you that I did replace this bolt here. Put a 5/16 one in there. It looks a lot more substantial. Hopefully that one will not break. So, what did we get for footage on this one? It's a fairly short run. 602. So, should take about 5 hours. Well, look what Dad found here. What that is? That's that packing for the seal that came new with our pump originally. Cool. And it's got instructions on how to do that. Awesome. We'll take that up there next time it shuts down and get that installed, and hopefully that will fix our leak that we had. Yeah, it's going to be about 1:45 when it's done. So a couple of days ago, when I was up in the field where we were irrigating, I kind of pulled apart a corn plant for you guys to show you the physiology of it, I guess, the stuff. Well, I got a lot of comments out of that, so I decided to do it again, but let's do it right this time. So I took a shovel up to the field with me when I was up there, and I actually dug out 2 corn plants. I'll lay them out here, show you what I got. So here's the 2 plants. This one was from one of the lanes that we just finished irrigating yesterday, and it's on a little bit sandier ground because it'll be easier to clean the roots off, but it has had water. That one is in the similar soil type, sandier, but it's a spot in the field that I can't get any water. And you can clearly see there's a size difference, height, stalk diameter, root structure, the whole thing. Now, when I was trying to dig out the one that did not get water, I actually broke my shovel. Like, the ground was hard, and it's sandy. Was not expecting that. So anyway, I'm going to wash the roots off. We're going to start there, and then we're going to tear these apart here, but I'm going to go in the shop in the shade so they don't dry out quite so fast, and just kind of show you some of the different cool stuff that corn plants do. Okay. First thing you can notice is that this one is curled up already, which, granted, it's pulled out of the ground, but that one is also pulled out of the ground. This one was curled before I pulled it. Look, oh gosh. Did you guys see it? There was a mouse. Just ran right around the wall. Okay, so then we look at root mass. Clearly a difference. Put these a little closer. And while we're looking at roots, one thing I want you to notice is, do you see this right here? And right here on this one? Not the leaf. Right there. That is the seed. That's the kernel that we actually planted. Now, when I look at this, the thing that strikes me is that look at where the seed is in relation to all of the roots. All of them. Now, granted, I broke these roots off. They did go deeper into the soil. But where is 90% of the root tissue on these plants? Both plants. Above the seed, right? That's why planting depth is so critical, because if you plant that seed too shallow, them roots are in the very top of the soil or out of the soil, or they just don't have enough room to grow, and you got to get it down in the ground there. So if you look at this real close, let's see if I can get it to focus. But here's our seed, and then this root right here, this was actually the shoot. This is the part of the plant that comes out of the ground and turned green first. And then some of these roots that are sort of tangled up here, those are the radical, maybe this one. And those are the first roots that get sent down that get the plant started. Those are the ones that are finding our starter band and all that early fertilizer that we put out there to try and get the plants growing well. Then the rest of the roots are what we call nodal roots. They actually start coming out of the nodes on the plant, and the nodes are stacked together really tight in there. There's actually 5 of them before you can really see a difference. But then they start spreading out, and if I rotate this one, you can start to see these roots here, and then this one, and we're actually going to get some to come out up here, and maybe even way up here on the plant. We'll see that as we start to tear it apart. So this one we do have the same thing, just not nearly as much. It's just not as much structure there. So, all right, I'm gonna start peeling some leaves off of this. I would like to figure out what growth stage we're in, but part of the problem with that is in order to figure out growth stage, we need to count leaves. Well, in order to count leaves, I need to be able to find the bottom leaf. And if you look at these brace roots here, this leaf right here that I'm holding actually comes out and was attached to the plant below where these roots are. And this is not the first leaf, not even close. In fact, we've got another one here that was lower, and there was another one right here that's even lower, but they're still not the first leaf. So we can't find them anymore, so we can't count all the leaves. Well, there's another way to stage it. I'll show you that in a little bit. But first, we're going to start peeling some leaves off. Okay, I haven't made it very far, but I'm already finding some stuff that's interesting. Okay, so remember I said that these roots come out of where the nodes are. Well, see this break right here? This is kind of it's a node. It's a section of the stalk. There's another node up here, another one up here, and so on. Each leaf is attached to a node. So this leaf right here, where the collar is right here, is actually attached down here at this node. So this leaf that I just peeled off was attached at this node. You see all those little bumps? Well, that's the next set of brace roots, like these, getting ready to emerge. But look what else I found on that node. Right here is what was actually an ear, the beginnings of an ear. So that video the other day, I told you that corn will actually put out a lot of ears on the stalk. Well, there I think is the bottom one. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. Wow. There is actually one right here. I can't believe there would be another one down lower than that, but that's pretty amazing. Holy cow, there is. Can you guys see it? Right there. That's an ear. Those are husks. Wow. So, all right, we're going to count how many ears are on this plant. It's going to be impressive. So when you're peeling these leaves off, they're kind of wrapped around the plant, and they wrap in opposite directions. I'll explain that in a second. But see this one here I'm peeling off? So it's wrapped this way around the plant. And one of the things that will help to get it off is to actually take a knife and just score it along the node there, and then it will come off easier. Okay, so there's that next leaf. We've got some more real tiny little brace roots that are coming. And there's our ear. Now this next leaf is actually wrapped in the opposite direction. So they alternate which way that they're wrapped around the center stalk. There. So I'm going to keep going up until I find something more interesting. Okay, so I've got a few more leaves off. The stalk is starting to get thinner. We've got to be awfully careful to not break it before, or while we're taking it apart here. But you'll notice that these ears, they're getting longer and bigger as we work up the plant. And the other thing I wanted to note is that this leaf right here, the next one to come off, was the last one with an exposed leaf collar right here. So that would be the leaf that we would count to if we were counting leaves. So I'm going to make a note or a mark on this node right here, that node is the one we want to count to when we get to that in a minute. Okay, so I've gotten a couple more leaves off now. Here was the one that we marked. You'll notice how short these nodes are now, the distance between them. Look down here how far it was, and it gets just a little smaller, a little bit shorter, and we're a lot shorter. Well, these are still growing. They're still stretching out. They haven't fully expanded yet. That's the length of the plant getting taller. You'll also notice that we don't have any more ears. This one here is the last one. That's the one that we're going to harvest. That's what the ear of corn that we're going to harvest looks like right now. We'll get into that one in a little bit, but let's finish tearing this apart. We've got just a couple more leaves attached here. Okay, and there it is. So I got all the leaves off. This is our tassel. Getting some size to it now. Look how tight together and small the stalk is there in these nodes here. I mean, they're stacked right on top of each other before they start spreading out. Here's our ear. You can see this is the last leaf. It's there, it's got some size to it, but it's still very thin tissue. It doesn't have any color yet because it doesn't get any sunlight. It's still wrapped up tight inside the whorl. If we look at this plant, it's still way down inside here and not getting any sunlight. So there's your exploded view of a corn plant. Kind of put these leaves back up here where they would come from. Yeah, cool. So let's count how many ears this plant actually put on. We'll start with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there are 9 ears all up that stalk of that plant, and only one of them will be harvested. 2 if you're really lucky, 1.5 probably. But truthfully, we only want 1. If it's trying to put on a second ear, a lot of times it's sucking nutrients out, and those kernels are going to get aborted anyway. And so you have to have really good growing conditions to get 2 ears. In our irrigated field, it's possible. But we generally try and push for 1 big ear instead of 1.5 years or something that we could potentially hurt the plant by trying to push it too hard, or it trying to produce 2 ears when it just doesn't have the moisture and nutrients to do it. Okay, I did get it a little bit dirty, but I was able to peel the husks back on this ear. Focus. So there you can kind of see the little tiny kernels on there. So I have a little magnifying lens for my camera that I went and got. There you can kind of see those little kernels. Pretty difficult. But they're there. Okay, now, growth staging. So how do we tell when we can't find the bottom leaves what growth stage this plant is? Well, we marked our node that had the highest visible leaf collar. So now we need to count the nodes from there to the bottom of the plant. And I know you can count them, but you can't where there's roots. So the best thing to do is to split that stem in half. So we're going to take our knife and split it right down the lengthwise. Okay, well, I didn't do too bad. I didn't make it all the way to the end there. But you can see the pithy stuff in the center of that stalk, and then we've got the hard exterior. It's got some lignin in it. That's the standability. That's a good thing. But that's also what takes the longest to then break down once we harvest the corn. But anyway, so you can see our nodes right here. So here's a node, here's a node, here's a node, here's a node, here's one. And then if you look in this point, it's all dark, right? It kind of comes to that point. Right here is that shoot that was coming up from our seed. There's our seed. And then that turns into the base of the plant. all the nodes start stacking up, and then you get these nodal roots that come out of there. So there actually are 5 nodes between the tip and the top of this brown spot. This one, where there's just a little bit of a difference, is node number 6. So we can count 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And there's where our mark is. So this would be considered a V14 corn plant. 14 exposed leaf collars. Each additional leaf that comes out is an additional number, so we'd go 15, 16. Let's see, how many more leaves do we have? This one was attached to that node, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know that all 7 of those are considered a V stage, because by the time these top ones are coming out, you're starting to see tassels poke out. So somewhere between V14 and V20, it'll start entering the R stages, reproductive. R1 is as soon as tassels or silks start emerging. I'd have to double check that. But anyway, that's a corn plant. Questions, leave them in the comment section. I always think this is cool. I always do it every year, pull one apart like this just to see what things look like. And I should pull that one apart, but it's the same thing, just smaller because it's stressed. The differences that we're going to see in that one are obviously the root system. The distance between these nodes will be shorter. It's not going to be as tall. It's thinner, lacks the rigidity that this plant has. If we could see the ear and count rows, it's probably less on that one because it's been stressed. So, but yeah, pretty cool. Okay, I am kind of waiting. I have got an appointment with a cell phone technician. My phone has had a crack in the screen right here for about 7 months now. It's not a real bad one, so I've never worried about it, but turns out my insurance on my plan has cracked screen repair for $29. So I thought, what the heck, let's see if I can get it fixed. I finally figured out how to do it. And they're gonna come to me and do it here. Like, I don't even have to take it anywhere or send it in or anything. So what a deal, right? 29 bucks. So he's supposed to be here in the next 10 or 15 minutes. We'll see how it goes. I'm surprised nobody's complained about that crack in my screen. I mean, it's on all the videos that I watch, right? You guys, yeah, never mind. Anyway, after he's done, we're gonna go combine wheat. Dad may go get started before that, but looks like I'm gonna be in the combine today, which is exciting. All right, my phone is all fixed, and I've never looked better if I do say so myself. Anyway, off to the field. We're gonna take this truck over. I don't know if Dad's combining or where he went. I have no idea, but we're gonna take the truck over there and start if he's not. He did get started. I will see if he jumps out here or if we just jump in the cart. Doesn't matter. Okay, well, Dad's got other stuff to work on, I guess, so we get to run combine today, which is exciting. I have not run the combine at all yet in wheat harvest, and not since we finished corn last fall. So, good deal. Let me get the hang of stuff here, and then I'll show you. Okay, things are good here. Well, things are running well. The wheat's not good. Yep. Okay, so basically, yeah, we are combining the wheat. The cutter bar there, where we replaced all them knife sections, cuts it off. The reel kind of pushes it onto the draper belts. The draper belts bring it to the center belt and that center feed drum suck it into the combine. And yeah, I can kind of show you how the combine works, but not from in the cab. So, looks like we've got, what do we have? I'll have to play with my screens up here a little bit, but we're about 75 acres in this field of 140, so we got a little ways to go, but should get it done today if no more rain showers pop up. This wheat is a little bit wet. We're running 16% here today, where average is 13. It was like 11, 12% yesterday. This may be a little high, actually, based on what it was yesterday and what that says. which isn't great, but even at 15-16% with as much dry wheat as we've got already in the bin, we can blend some or stick some wet stuff on top and blow air through it. It will be fine. And it should continue to dry down pretty rapidly throughout the day here, so I'm not too worried about it. Well, it's already drying. The yield is kind of all over the place here. We run from 60 up to mid-80s. Certain spots of the field are better than others. You can see on this map here is the yield map. Green is 80 plus, so it was better. Now it's dropped off and it's maybe getting a little better again. I was talking to a neighbor, one of my agronomists that I deal with from time to time about wheat and stuff, and asking how theirs was, and they hadn't started yet, but I was telling how ours was, and not too excited or impressed, but it sounds like we're in the ballpark of what everybody else has had. I've heard a lot of 60s, 60 to 70, some 70 to 80s, and all of ours has been in that range as well, mostly in the 70s. So it seems like a pretty widespread poor wheat yields around here this year. And I had talked yesterday's video about how I thought we had some disease in it and some fungus, and if we would have gotten a fungicide sprayed when the flag leaf came out, that might have helped. And the agronomist did not necessarily disagree with that, but thought that the frost that we had caused more damage than anything. So if you guys go back, or you've been watching for a while, you'll remember that the first week of May we had a pretty hard frost, and we were sort of worried about some of the very early planted beans, and the strawberry farm down the road was really worried about their strawberries. And when we got down to like 26 degrees the one night in May, like the 6th or 7th, something like that, the wheat never really showed any visible signs of frost damage. The leaves didn't turn brown or anything like that, maybe just a little bit in some of the tips. But according to my agronomist there, she said that wheat won't show frost damage in that way. It's not how it damages the plant at that growth stage. It damages the head and the development of the kernels and the seed head. Well, that would make sense. That'd be why our yields are no good. If we damaged that head when it was just starting to form, that's so good. That's a problem. So, but there's absolutely nothing that I could have done about it. It is what it is. So we'll take what we get. Be happy that the quality of it has been pretty good, and live to fight another year, I guess. Instead of unloading on the go here, we're just dumping into the cart at the end of the field. I can easily make rounds here in these shorter rows once we got in front of that woods. It does slow things down a little bit having to stop here, but it's not the end of the world. So Dad's got some other stuff he wanted to work on, which is fine. So I'm gonna just do this and we'll still get this field done today. Well, Phil's here, and look, we've got a grain cart driver. Oh, it's still cool. There goes my grain cart driver. Back to dumping on the end of the field. All right, well, Dad came and took over in the combine for me for a minute because we got to go move the irrigation traveler. But our gator needs fuel, so I'm gassing that up. The miles are starting to rack up on this thing this year. I think I put almost 250 miles on this gator just since we started irrigating, running back and forth to move it. You'll also notice I removed the sprayer from the bed, and I took the wheel spacers out that I had in there to run down 30-inch rows, because corn's tall, we ain't riding down any 30-inch rows anymore, and I was tired of the mud getting flung all over the sides of everything. So having them spacers out and the wheels tucked back under the fender will help. So, oh crap, I'm gonna grab that packing and take that up. Let's try and change that while we're up there. Waiting for this to get in the last 15 feet here. Look, our tire's turning again. I did not replace that bearing. I know it needs to be done. I asked them about it when I went to the dealer that sold us this, and they said you're much better off to go to the auto parts store and buy a wheel bearing than try and order it from the company that makes the Travelers. So we'll do that. Problem is I don't know what I need until I take it apart, and I can't take it apart while I'm still using it. So as long as it's rolling, I'm not gonna worry about it. But when it rains, we should probably fix that. Well, things aren't going great for me here. Okay, so I'm fighting this mud in my lane here, right? And what's happening is it's getting muddy right along the pipe, which is making my tires sink. And so now my stabilizers won't go over the pipe. And I tried to move it, and I shouldn't have, because I punctured the pipe. Dang it. So now we got to drain the pipe and split it and put a cap right there, which means we can keep running, but this pipe's got to get replaced. Okay, I got it apart. Looks like I got 3 or 4 sticks. 4 sticks that got to come apart to get back to the riser. I just decided we're going to do flood irrigation instead. It's easier. Kinda. How big of a water jet do you think would be coming out of that hole if I would pressurize it? Be a big one. All right, now we got to stick an end cap in there. Get our traveler where we want it. I think I can just back up now. Okay, I got it pulled out. Everything's good here. I got a cap in there. That should work. We got to watch it when we pull away, or we'll have to move stuff out of the way so we don't run over it. But water will go through it. We'll have to fix this pipe before we start over on the 4th pass. But it's going to start raining between now and then. And we aren't going to have to do a 4th pass because it's going to rain the rest of the summer. Right? Right? Whew. I think the humidity is up substantially today because I'm sweating more than I have. And it's not that much hotter, but oh buddy, that was not fun. Now, let's see if we can figure out how this packing works. We got to take these out and loosen this back. I don't know, never done it before. We're gonna figure it out though. At least we get to work in the shade here. I got it apart, and here's what we got. So there's a bracket and a nut on each side, and then there's a top and a bottom. These little pieces that fit in there like this and push on that packing. And this is kind of what I scraped off of them. Appears to be what's left of the old one. So I think we just take this and kind of wrap it around that shaft in there, and then we put those back in and sort of push it in there. But it says very specifically on here about letting it leak liberally and tightening it up just a little bit at a time until it quits. So I don't know, we'll put her in there and see what happens. Okay, it's together. I have no idea how tight to start with it, so I just kind of put it in there loosely, basically as loose as it can. The threads are flush with the end of the bolt there. I guess we start it up and see how bad it leaks and maybe snug it just a little bit. Yeah, that really wasn't that hard. We had quite a bit of water out of our pipe, so we got to build pressure. It's not dripping at all, and it won't until we have pressure. Our gun is right out there at the end of the woods, so we'll just have to give her a minute since we drained that pipe, or we let so much water out of it. It's going to take a second to refill it all. In the meantime, you can see how bad this corn is starting to curl, especially down here along this edge. We don't get water down here. It's too short of runs. We don't have any until we get farther out in the field. So this has not gotten any water down here, but it's along the river. It's heavier ground. It shouldn't need it, or as bad anyway. But somebody said on yesterday's video in a comment that they wouldn't be surprised if there was 50 bushel difference in the yield here. I'm thinking at this point we're going to be closer to 100 bushel difference. It's going to be substantial. Oh, we got more problems. Dang it. I should not be able to spin that without spinning the motor. And also, look at it wobbling. Something is not good in there, and our keyway gave out. I think this whole shiv is bad. Oh, crap. I'm not sure how to change that. or if the dealer will even have it. Crap. Okay, so I've determined that the drive key in there from the motor to the shiv has sheared off, and I don't know why. But we've got to get it apart to try and fix it. I called the dealer to see if they had a whole new shiv, because I've got a whole new motor that I could just put a new one on, swap it out, and go. They do not. They said they've had them on order from Cadman for 2 weeks, and they can't get them shipped in. So if anybody from Cadman is watching this video and you want to tell me what the heck is going on and why you can't ship out your parts and why that seal up there has been back ordered for 2 weeks and we can't get them in the middle of the summer when we're trying to pump water and keep our corn alive, please feel free to let me know. In the meantime, I'm not very happy with Cadman at the moment, and we got to try and get this thing apart and piece it together. But we're gonna have to shut our water off because it's sitting in one spot. There's nothing I can do about it. This is not what I want to be dealing with today. Well, there's what's left of the key. I got it apart here. The keyway is not great on the motor shaft. Good thing I got a new motor. Problem is it's also no good on the pulley. And I can't get a new pulley until second week of August. Thanks, Cadman. So I'm debating whether I put the old pulley on the new motor or if I put the old pulley on the old motor and try and limp it together until I get a new pulley and then put the new of both on there. I think if I get a new key, there's enough meat left on parts of it. If I get a long enough one, it should hold together for a while. I could put some glue type stuff, some JB Weld or some Loctite or something in there, but then we'll never get it apart. The question is, do we care? Either way, I'm going to need some more tools. I am not happy. So here's my new pump or motor. Problem is that the pulley is worn and the shaft on this, and I feel like if I put this on there with a good shaft and a new key, that the pulley being worn is just going to wear it out. And since I can't get one of those until August, I think I'm going to put a new key in. I cut this one. It's a little bit longer. Maybe it'll grab some meat that original key did not. We're going to stick it in there. We're going to put some JB Weld on it and hope that it holds. Problem is my JB Weld is in rough shape here, and I want some of this quick set stuff that I've only got half of the 2-part system. So I'm going to run to the hardware store quick and grab some of that. We'll take this stuff up there, put it together, see if it runs. Dad's running the combine. He said he was good, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, here's what I got. I got some more JB Weld. I did not get the quick set stuff. The guy at the auto parts store where I bought it talked me out of it, said it's not as strong, it's not as good of an option, you don't want it. I said, okay. So what that means is we go up there and we put this thing back together, JB Weld the crap out of it, and we let it set until the morning, which is hard to shut it down right now, but it's the best option that we've got. Okay, well, I JB Welded it, put JB Weld in the pulley, I put it on the shaft, I put it on the key, we put as much in there as we could get, shoved it all together. It's still got some slop, but see, this key here is what was holding it, and if that key there would make it turn at all, having a new one in there, it ought to last for another 7 years. So, you know.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah. So it's got to make it to either it starts raining or August, second week of August when we get a new pulley, whichever comes first. But we got this all back together. These bolts here I got back in. I put this one back on. Never did take all the rest of that apart. So I think we're good. We just need to let it set and cure. And that's the hard part because, well, this corn right here don't look so bad, but over there and everywhere else it looks pretty bad. And now I got to sit here with no water till tomorrow morning. So we're gonna let it sit overnight. We'll come back in the morning, start it back up, see if it works. Hopefully we'll be good. Actually, hopefully it rains tonight and we won't have to start it in the morning. Let's go with that plan. On the bright side, maybe our mud holes will dry up overnight. Probably not. See that? Do you see that corn? That's why we need to keep pumping water. Okay, I'm back at the shop. I cleaned up my hands a little bit. Didn't do too bad. Grabbed my water jug, gonna go back up to the field and finish combining up there, run it for Dad. I don't know what else he's got he wants to work on, but if he wants to let me run the combine, I'm gonna run the combine. Not a whole lot left in this field. The baling crew has moved in on this field, and they run an impressive operation. I will show them sometime, but I've already got probably a half hour of footage in this video, so not today. But 2 balers, and that machine, that's a new thing. That's a bale baron that's making these big blocks here. That's brand new. I think this is the first they're running it, so pretty interesting. We'll check them out when we have more time. Okay, well, we don't have much left here. We just got to get from here to the corn. What was it? 7 or 8 acres is all. You can see the wheat's been a little better over here in these little fingers. We were over in this area here earlier today. So the average has gone up a little bit. We're almost up to 78, which is still not good, but it's better. And it's dry. We're back down to 11%. I knew it wouldn't last very long, that it was wet there. So anyway, let's get this finished, and I think we'll get moved to the next field tonight yet. So after you've had a little bit of a tough day, afternoon in this case, just traveler stuff, you know what helps? When they show up looking for a ride. Got the whole family tonight for a couple of rounds here. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Wait for it. Look, we did it. Broke 100. There is some decent wheat in this field. The spot's been running pretty good here. Is he doing what?
The truck is good.
What is he doing?
No.
You don't know?
No.
What's Grandpa doing, Grayson?
I hear the semi beeping on the horn.
You hear the semi beeping.
I see the lights. I hear little things. Grandma got it. Well, there's nobody right
Grandma
there.
got it, didn't he?
He got the truck unloaded, didn't he? Or the grain cart unloaded, didn't he?
Yeah.
Field is done. Folded up the combine grain tank. We got the head dropped here. Gonna brush off some chaff and stuff. Strap the head down. Send the boys and the wife off, and I think we're gonna move to the next field here. Okay, the combine and the grain cart tractor both need fuel, so we're gonna run them back to the farm. I'm gonna take this truck first. It's full. There is still a little bit of wheat on the grain cart. Don't really want to take it back to the farm full, so we'll probably run a truck up here real quick and empty that, and then take the grain cart tractor back. Dad is gonna take the combine. Get that fueling up right now. Fueling. Saving the polar bears. And the penguins. Don't forget the penguins. Unloading. Okay. Combine's fueled up. Grain cart tractor is fueled up. I greased the tracks, the idlers on the idler wheels and the bogies. And I'm going to take the combine over to the next field. Dad's headed over with the head. Jack was going to pick him up. Phil's going to bring a truck when he gets that other one unloaded. Well, I'm just doing end rows, so you got to take it all with a grain of salt. But this field has looked the best, or one of our better looking fields, I guess, since way back in the fall. And it's super dry. But I'm doing end rows, and it's yielding 90, which is way better than anything else we've done. So we'll see once we get out in the field, but promising over here. Okay, Phil brought the grain cart, so I'm emptying into that. Dad and Phil went back to the farm. They're going to grab the 2 trucks and bring those over. We're going to fill those and maybe the cart tonight, and that'll probably be it. It is, where did my clock go? 7 o'clock already, so look at this. 3 passes on the ends. Average 92. Maybe we got some good wheat. So Phil brought a wagon, and Dad's back with the truck and got the grain cart emptied. I'm gonna switch Dad. He's gonna jump in the combine here and run this. I'm gonna run the grain cart, and I don't know. We'll fill at least this truck and a wagon, and maybe another truck. I don't know. We'll see how far we go tonight. Let's see here. That round averaged about 84, which is good. I will take that. Okay, well guys, it's quitting time. Sorry I missed filming some of that. I was doing a live stream, which you can go check out, but I didn't get to film. Sorry, y'all film. Hold up. There. How many acres we did here? Wasn't a lot. Caught it. Filled the truck and a wagon. And there's some on the grain cart, so I'll see it back at the farm. I gotta take the truck back. Okay guys, I'm sorry for the abrupt end to the live stream and the abrupt end to today's video. We were combining along there and I decided to do that live stream, and then Dad decided he wanted to quit and I was still doing it, and so everything just kind of happened all at once there. So anyway, decent day combining wheat. We didn't quite get 100 acres, but awfully close. We're over 90 for sure, and we found a field of better wheat, which is encouraging. We have 2 more fields left to do. Both of them have the same variety that this one does, so that's you know, maybe the rest of our wheat's a little bit better, maybe, but no rain today, unfortunately. There is a pretty good chance tomorrow, even in the morning, so hopefully it'll be raining tomorrow. We'll find out. If it's not raining, well, we're gonna fire the Traveler up in the morning. Hope that our fix worked. There's a temporary patch until we can get our new parts, but that's gonna be a while. So we JB welded the crap out of that pulley. Let's hope that it holds, and we can start the water back up and keep the corn alive. We'll keep wheat harvest going as long as it's not raining, and we can do that. And yeah, should have another good day. So hit the like button for me, please. Give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that. If you have any questions and comments, please leave them down below. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the morning.